Alright, welcome, and today I am going to talk about the Exo Stranger and what the Exo Stranger has to do with Future War Cult, the Ishtar Collective, Rasputin, and Osiris. Now, for a lot of people, the Exo Stranger is, for all intents and purposes, Sundaresh. Sundaresh was an Ishtar Collective scientist who sent I can't remember, it's like an obscene number of copies. It's like 227 copies of herself into the Vex network. Now, with this in mind, Sundaresh also did something different. Sundaresh made a device that allows you to see in the future. The original intent of this device was so she could contact her lover across space and time, like a galactic telephone. Instead, it had a reverse effect. Now, this was being overseen by Rasputin, and this is where it gets real tricky and weird. So the last paragraphs of the Vex 5 Grimoire card talks about Sundaresh saying that they need more than flesh and drug to survive the machine. So a lot of people assume she made herself into the Exo Stranger to use the machine. Now, she does resign from her position to go find her lover on Hyperion, which is a moon of Saturn. And the last phrase of it is her talking about her resigning, but she can't take the journal she's made with her. And so she's leaving it. And she refers to it as the gospel of our little cult. Now, this is where things get really weird. So, the Future War Cult faction ends up finding this machine, or the remains of it, and they rebuilt it, and they start testing it on any member of the Future War Cult. And most of them have seen timelines where darkness has already prevailed, the city has fallen, and hopelessness, madness, and being trapped. So the Future War Cult and Ghost Fragment Future War Cult, they take a ghost from Siberia, rebuild it, and throw it into the machine. At least that's kind of how the card reads. So how does this tie in with Osiris? We'll get to that in a little bit. So now you get Rasputin. Rasputin has an interesting card. It is Ghost Fragment Rasputin 4, and in it, it opens up the same way the Exo Stranger's card, Ghost Fragment Exo Stranger, opens. I stand here now, and now, and now many times. Rasputin opens up this with the same thing, saying, you stand here now, and many times, and here I am a wanderer. This also brings up another card, Legends and Mysteries. This card refers to something called an it, someone fighting it with a roar of knives and stolen on fire and singularities, and how they were the only ones to survive. Now, this brings about, to me, the Exo Stranger talking about how she survived and watched the Traveler fall. Now, that could be true, and with this brings to me a paradox for Sundaresh. Why would she just give up on her lover and go back to her to fight and watch the Traveler fall as the darkness came? So I put this theory forth, is that if this is Sundaresh, the reason why she would hate the Vex so much and have such disdain is because her folly was that she loved this woman so much, her wife, that she made the machine try and talk to her. Well, then she got obsessed with the machine, with Rasputin and everyone, turned herself into the Exo Stranger, then went to find her lover. Her lover rejected her because of what she had done, and she blames the Vex and all sorts of stuff for what had happened to her. And so she went and fought. That's my theory. Now, we get to my second theory, is that the Exo Stranger is not Sundaresh. Exo Stranger was made by Rasputin, Clovis Bray, and the Ishtar Collective to be an Exo that can traverse space and time for the Vex network. That's my theory, and the only reason behind this is the Legends and Mystery, Ghost Fragment and Mystery card, talking about how this person survived it. Then you could jump over to Rasputin number 4, Ghost Fragment. Rasputin says you are not one of the long dead but alive again. Their bodies grafted to powers they and I do not understand, and not one of it, the Flower Eater. And you are certainly not one of mine, although you once must have been. I bear an old name. It cannot be killed, not even here. So whose are you, little platform? He asks this thing, this entity, whatever it is, who it is, and it reverts back to the Legends and Mysteries Ghost Fragment Mystery card. This person saying, I bear an old name and cannot be killed. These are all kind of linked together. The last phrase in there is tell me how to step. That's definitely got to be about how she goes in and out of time all the time. Now with this comes Osiris. Now the link for Osiris is the Future War Cult card goes Fragment Future War Cult. In it says there's 47 human subjects. What's one of Osiris's vision cards called? 47. Another one is called 81. Now with this, the Commandant claims that he was a Golden Age experiment and that he was misincarnated as a human by an inept ghost. And also in the Osiris Grimoire card, it talks about ghosts coming back saying that Vex cannot simulate guardians, which is something very interesting since that's something the Ishtar Collective dabbled in. Now the idea would be that Osiris is a mixture of a human, Vex tech, and also exotech to make him able to traverse the space-time stuff as well, or be able to use the machine. That's part of the idea that I'm having, or theory, whatever you want to call it. And I think it would be very interesting if this pans out to be true. Now, the other thing, too, the main thing that links all these characters together is this machine. This vision machine that Future War Cult now has. And they've used it to see into the future, to see great and terrible things. Now with this in mind, the Exo Stranger's original character in the original story was supposed to be a helper of Osiris. So this might have translated over. Now I know Luke Smith said we're no longer going to see the Exo Stranger anymore, that her story arc was covered, but we may be introduced to her radio operator, the person behind the radio that she's always talking to. Could that person be Osiris, or could it be someone from Future War Cult or Rasputin? We're not sure, but only time will tell. Alright, everyone, take it easy.